Eric is out for a walk with his dog, Nova. During the stroll, a rabbit suddenly darts out from a bush, startling Nova. She jerks the leash from Eric's hand and takes off after it. Eric runs after her, but his pursuit only encourages her to run faster. Before long, she disappears from sight, still chasing the rabbit, which has now vanished into another direction. After extensive searching, it becomes evident Nova is disoriented and lost. Eric spends the remainder of the day and many that follow trying to find her. He alerts neighbors, calls on friends and family for help, and puts up flyers across the area. A week passes with no sign of Nova. Eric is overcome with grief. He fixates on the misfortune, how a rabbit jumped out at the worst moment and how his grip just happened to slip. Roughly another week goes by. One day a woman appears at Eric's front door with Nova in her arms. The reunion between man and dog is joyful and emotional. Eric thanks the woman, who is about his age. She introduces herself as Vanessa. They chat for a while and hit it off. In the weeks that follow, they spend more time together and soon begin dating. Eric finds Vanessa to be beautiful, smart, kind, and spontaneous, the ideal partner in every sense. They quickly fall in love. The relationship becomes something most people hope for, warm, exciting, and sincere. Eric often reflects on the fortune of Vanessa being the one to find Nova that day. A couple of months later, Eric is driving to pick up Vanessa. While crossing an intersection, a distracted driver runs a red light and slams into Eric's car. The impact knocks him unconscious and spins the car violently. Later, Eric wakes up in the hospital. A doctor explains what happened and says Eric has a serious head injury. Immediate tests and a brain scan are needed to check for internal bleeding or lasting damage. Eric lies in bed, angry and shaken. He thinks about the randomness of the event, that he happened to be on that road at that moment, all because he was on his way to Vanessa. He wonders how one chance occurrence could potentially ruin everything. The following day, the doctor visits Eric's room. "Eric, how are we feeling?" he asks. "Okay, a little foggy," Eric replies. "That's expected, you took quite a hit." The doctor continues, "We've reviewed your CT scan. I've got bad news and good news. Let's start with the bad," Eric says nervously. "Well, they're actually the same thing," the doctor responds. "What do you mean?" Eric asks, visibly concerned. "We found what looks like a glioma in your brain," the doctor explains after a pause. "That's a tumor." Eric stares at him, unsure of what to think. But here's the good news. We only found it because of the accident. The tumor has nothing to do with your crash. You were otherwise fine, but without the brain scan, we wouldn't have seen it. Normally, people only discover this type of tumor after symptoms appear, and by then, it's often too late. Fortunately, yours is still benign. Since we caught it this early, we should be able to remove it with little complication. So, in a strange twist, the car crash may have saved your life. Eric is stunned. He feels lightheaded, unsure whether it's from the injury, the emotion, or the paradox of what he's just been told. He processes the fact that the doctor repeated the same finding twice, yet each time carried a completely different emotional weight. He looks around the hospital room, caught in a wave of thought. He considers how bizarrely fortunate it was to be headed toward Vanessa at exactly that moment. How an event that felt catastrophic could turn out to be life-saving. And how something that brought joy, like meeting Vanessa, only happened because of losing Nova in the first place. Eric begins to grasp how little he truly understands about the outcomes of anything that happens. That the line between good and bad is rarely clear, and that he'll never really know what any moment might lead to, no matter how painful or lucky it feels. This thought leaves him with a curious sense of powerlessness and relief. A week later, Eric undergoes surgery to remove the tumor. The procedure is a success. Aside from a scar running down the side of his head, he recovers well. A few days after being discharged, Eric is back home with Vanessa, healing, wanting some fresh air. He clips the leash onto Nova, and they go for a walk.